Hey, what's going on, family and future South Carolinians? Or should I say, soon to be lovers of sweet tea, shrimp and grits, and that famous Southern charm. Moving to South Carolina might feel like stepping into a postcard. But let me tell you firsthand, there's a lot more to the state of South Carolina than meets the eye. And trust me, there are some things no one tells you about before you move here. Things that could save you a lot of headaches, money, and even sunburn. So grab a glass of sweet tea, sit back, and let's dive into 10 things that I believe you need to know before moving to South Carolina. Let's avoid some mistakes. Let's dive in. The humidity. It is no joke. It is like living in a sauna. You think you know humidity? Nah, you don't know humidity until you live in South Carolina and experience South Carolina humidity. It's like walking into a wall of wet blankets. And it's not just a summer thing, it is a lifestyle. No pun intended, because I am a real estate agent for Lifestyle International Realty. You will sweat in places you didn't even know you could sweat. Pro tip, invest in moisture wicking clothes and a very good dehumidifier for your home. And please, don't even think about leaving your windows open unless you want your house to feel like a rainforest. And I would say, having a personal fan would help, but many occasions throughout the year, having this fan just makes it worse because that humidity, that air is just very sticky. Now, before I move on to number 2, let me introduce myself. I am Sir Ashley, your real estate advisor, and on this channel, we talk about real estate in the Carolinas. And I've been helping people for over a decade in real estate, as a real estate attorney, as an investor, and as a licensed agent in both North and South Carolina. And I've helped over 1,000 people move to or within the Carolinas in that time frame. So if you're thinking about buying, selling, or investing here in the Carolinas, please reach out to me. My team and I would love to help you. All right, let's jump into number 2. I have to warn you about the bugs because they are next level. Yes, I'm talking about palmetto bugs. Yes, they're not just bugs, they're basically small drones with wings. And then there's mosquitoes. Mosquitoes are actually the unofficial state bird. And if you're moving here, stock up on bug spray and consider a screened-in porch. You want to make sure you are going to buy a home with a screened-in porch, or that you're willing to create a screened-in porch so you can enjoy some outdoor living. Oh, and depending on where you live in the state, don't be surprised if you see a few alligators chilling in some ponds. You know, they're like those neighbors that never leave. Now I have to tell you about number 3. I don't want you surprised because the sweet tea in South Carolina is sweeter than your grandma's compliments. And sweet tea is not just the drink here, it is a way of life. Now my business partner, he likes to go half and half. Half sweet tea, half regular tea. But trust me, here in South Carolina, there's always going to be sweet tea. And if you're not used to it, that first sip might feel like you're drinking liquid candy. It's so sweet that it could probably power a small car. And I told you that my business partner likes to get unsweet tea and sweet tea and mix it together. But please, do not even think about asking for a complete glass of unsweet tea unless you want the waiter to look at you like you just insulted their mother. All right, here's the deal. South Carolina has a low cost of living compared to a lot of other states, but there is a big but. Property taxes can sneak up on you if the home is not owner occupied. If it's an investment property, your taxes are going to be 3 times the amount than it would be if you lived in the home. And if you're moving to a hot spot like Charleston or Greenville, home prices are shooting up faster than squirrels on a sugar rush. So do your research and don't assume that everything's cheap simply because it's in the South. Certain parts of South Carolina are booming and the prices are reflecting that. So be cautious. Now, the 5th thing you need to be aware of before you move to South Carolina is the beaches. But the beaches. The beaches are stunning, but they're crowded. Myrtle Beach, Hilton Head, Folly Beach, they're all gorgeous. But here's the thing, everyone and their cousin wants to be there as well. Summer weekends can feel like a scene from World War Z. If you want to avoid the crowds, hit the beaches early in the morning or during the off season. And locals know this secret. Some of the best beaches are the smaller, lesser known ones. Don't tell anybody that I told you that. Now moving on to the next one. If you've been following me for any time now, you will know this is true. The food here will ruin your life. I'm telling you, the food here is next level. Shrimp and grits, barbecue, fried pickles, fried Oreos, fried green tomatoes. Your taste buds are in for a treat. But here's the catch. Once you've had South Carolina barbecue, all other barbecue will taste like disappointment when it enters your mouth. And trust me, I'm a Kansas City Chiefs fan, and Kansas talks glowingly about their barbecue. So I had to try it out, and I did, and I was very disappointed because it did not match. Couldn't even hold a pen to South Carolina barbecue. And don't even get me started on the biscuits. You'll never look at Pillsbury the same way again. South Carolina biscuits and their barbecue and their food in general is next level, and it could ruin your life. Now let's talk about something that is interesting, and that is the drivers. Drivers in South Carolina, they're a unique bunch. If you thought your hometown had bad drivers, wait until you experience the artistry, that's what we'll call it, the artistry of South Carolina drivers. It's like everyone is in a hurry to go nowhere fast. In the left lane, that's just a suggestion. Oh, and watch out for tractors on back roads. You haven't lived until you've been stuck behind a tractor going 15 miles per hour. Or if you're on a 2-lane highway and you're stuck behind a very slow moving vehicle that probably should be banned from being on the road. Now let's talk about the elephant in the room. History is everywhere in South Carolina, and it's complicated. South Carolina is steeped in history. From Revolutionary War sites to Civil War battlefields, it is everywhere. But here's the thing, the history here is complicated. You will see the beautiful antebellum homes, and you'll see plantations. But you'll also be reminded of the state's role in slavery. And South Carolina is a place where the past and present collide, and it brings a unique mix, and it's important to approach it with respect and understanding because it really is complicated and unique. You have people that aren't even familiar with the history now moving to South Carolina, but they're surrounded by all this history and wonder why there may be some underlying tension. So please be aware of it. Now, even with that complicated history, number 9 is the people are friendly. But some South Carolinians are some of the friendliest people you ever meet. They'll wave at you, strike up a conversation in the grocery store, and they'll probably invite you to a cookout or an oyster roast. But this is where people get it confused. Don't mistake South Carolinians' friendliness for instant acceptance. It takes time to become a true local. And if you're from up north, well, you might get a few good-natured jokes about your accent or lack thereof. It comes with the territory. Now we have to talk about the weather. I talked about the humidity. Now when talking about the weather, you have to know that the winters are mild, springs are pretty much gorgeous, and fall is basically a postcard. But hurricane season, that is the wild card. If you're moving to the coast, you will need to be prepared. You need to have a plan. Stock up on supplies, and do not wait till the last minute to evacuate if it comes to that. Remember, even if you're from this area, these storms are getting a lot more severe. So even if you hunkered down in place in the past, I encourage everyone to evacuate, and evacuate sooner than later, because you do not want to be stuck in traffic with half of the state trying to get out of town. So there you have it. 10 things no one will really tell you about moving to South Carolina before you do so. It's a state full of charm, beauty, and a few quirks that will keep you on your toes. But if you come prepared, keep an open mind, and embrace the slower pace of life, you will fall in love with South Carolina just like I did. Now, go pack your bags, stock up on some bug spray, and get ready for your next big adventure. Welcome to South Carolina, y'all.